Starting today, medical marijuana patients throughout Florida now have new limits on just how much medicine they can be prescribed.
Part of a new emergency rule adopted by the Florida Office of Medical Marijuana Use. Action News Jack's Jake Stofan reports patient advocates are worried the new limits will drive more patients back to the black market.
Florida's 745,000 medical marijuana patients will now be limited to just a maximum of 350 milligrams of THC a day, or a maximum of 2.5 ounces of marijuana in its smokable form every 35 days. Now, advocates say that's only about a third the dose patients had access to just last week. The new limits were adopted via emergency rule by the Florida Office of Medical Marijuana Use. The legislature had ordered the agency to set new dosage limits to rein in what it saw as potentially irresponsible overprescribing by some doctors. The rule didn't come as a surprise, but advocates like Jody James weren't expecting the limits to be so strict.
Patients are settling in and finding out what they need, and they woke up this morning and their supply has been cut in third.
James, president of the Florida Cannabis Action Network, fears patients in the most need will now either have to go without or find other means of getting their medicine.
It's arming and emboldening a black market.
Under the rule, patients can be prescribed a maximum of 24,500 milligrams of THC every 70 days. Josephine Canella-Krell, head of clinical community relations for Flowery Dispensary, says while that may sound like a lot, patients who use multiple forms of marijuana in conjunction with one another could quickly find themselves maxing out.
So a patient who uses inhalation at the maximum levels is now not even going to be eligible to qualify to use a topical.
And James's biggest concern is how the limits will be enforced.
And we want to make sure that our patients who are trying to do the right thing never have to wonder whether or not they have too much medicine and they're over their legal limits, or worse, that they're not going to get enough medicine.
Both advocates I spoke with today said they believe the new restrictions could drum up support for full legalization. There are currently 2 active citizens initiatives aimed at putting that question before voters on the 2024 ballot. For local coverage you can count on live in Inglewood, I'm Jake Stofan, Action News Jax.